Good evening and welcome to our virtual honors convocation for 2021. My name is Dr. Jennifer Cohen. I'm Associate Professor of Secondary Education here in the College of Education, and I'm delighted to welcome you to our ceremony. I'm honored to serve as the Mistress of Ceremonies for tonight's event, where we will celebrate the extraordinary achievements of our exceptional graduates. Truly a special group gathered here tonight. First, I would like to introduce Sister Mary Paul McCauley, who will begin our celebration with an invocation.
God, we invoke your blessing. Blessed are you, Lord God of the universe, whose love brings parents, friends, teachers, mentors, and graduates together for this honors convocation, whose compassion binds us to the vision of Saints Vincent and Louise de Marillac, to teach, to heal, to serve in every dark corner, whose care reflects the work and accomplishments of these College of Education honorees in a world that desperately needs their gifts. Blessed are you, God of the living, whose justice compels us to work for justice, to defend the dignity of every human person without exception, whose wisdom invites the counselors, the teachers, the principals prepared at DePaul University to celebrate today and to continue to grow as persons and professionals, whose mercy shows us that our accomplishments are not for ourselves, but to be poured out freely to all who need counsel and knowledge and a path forward. Blessed are you, God of all, you who give us this class of 2021. Hold them close always, gift them with the courage to act, knowing that they are loved by you and by all of us gathered here in hope and in joy. Amen.
Amen. Dr. Paul Zients has served as the Dean of DePaul's College of Education since his appointment in July 2009. He earned his PhD in 1979 from the University of Connecticut in the field of educational psychology and special education. Dr. Zients' research interests include educating children and youth with emotional and behavioral disorders, cognitive behavioral interventions, and classroom management. He is the author, co-author, or editor of 5 books and numerous articles and chapters. Under his leadership at the College of Education, faculty and staff have increased program offerings and have worked to meet accreditation standards to better prepare students for the demands of today's field of education. We welcome Dr. Paul Zients.
Good evening, honorees, parents, family, friends, faculty, and staff. Thank you for joining us tonight in celebration of our students' achievements. Before we acknowledge our honorees, we'll be recognizing those who influence, shape the lives of some of our own DePaul students. Given the events of the last year, it's clear that much of the public has learned again to appreciate the fabulous work that our teachers do. Celebrating Teachers is an initiative founded in 2012 with the intention of having the College of Education honor teachers who significantly transformed the lives of our DePaul students. The initiative began with a call for DePaul students to submit essays nominating educators and evolved into the annual celebration of the finest members of the field of education. Tonight, we have 3 outstanding educators who we are pleased to announce as this year's Celebrating Teachers Award winners. Our first celebrated teacher is Laura Suaja, who serves South Elgin High School in Elgin, Illinois. She was nominated by Kristen Boyce, a student in the College of Science and Health, who will graduate with a BS in Health Science with a concentration in Biomedical Sciences. Please join me in watching a video tribute to Laura Suaja.
My name is Kristen Boyce, and I just graduated from DePaul with a health science degree with a concentration in biomedical sciences.
I'm Laura Suaja, and I teach at South Elgin High School, and I teach English. I taught Kristen in sophomore honors English, and I currently teach junior English and then AP literature.
I was really inspired to nominate her because I truly do carry with me a lot of the personal lessons that she taught me outside of the classroom.
I think this year has been one of the most challenging years in teaching ever. And I don't think I've ever just needed to pause and remember why I do this more. When I heard about this and just a little bit of acknowledgement for the why I do this, I think it was exactly what I needed.
I held a leadership position in Students for Suaja and Hug Club, which were two organizations sponsored by Ms. Suaja.
Students for Suaja from the outside seems very weird because like you have a club for yourself.
Students for Suaja, which was originally founded because Ms. Suaja's mother was going through chemotherapy at the time.
So I dyed a part of my hair pink in October, just for breast cancer awareness. And I never really talked about what my mom was going through at school. I just carried it in my personal life. And then I dyed my hair pink for October. And then one of my students asked me why my hair was pink in this junior English class. And I said, well, I'm doing it to just honor and spread awareness and do exactly this. It was interesting because then they were like, do you know somebody with breast cancer? And so then, and again, as an English teacher, it's my job. If you have a story, it's my job to teach you how to tell it. So that's exactly what I did. I paused class and I just told that classroom full of kids about what my mom was currently going through.
And at that time, her students were also very inspired by her and decided to start this organization to raise money, not only towards Ms. Suaja's mother's cancer expenses, but also for the American Breast Cancer Association and breast cancer survivors within the local community.
So you don't say no to kids like that. If they're gonna go above and beyond and like make something in the real world matter, you kind of just sit in the background and you help. So they called it Students for Suaja, and then it just kind of evolved from there. And so I think it was a good lesson for a lot of them of just like life might not always be perfect, but like together, let's do what we can.
That club was kind of intermerged with Hug Club, which was kind of a spin-off on Key Club, which is which is an organization that focuses on kind of just making an impact within the local community.
It was just basically a community service club, and we did small things around the community.
But what Ms. Suaja brought to that is that she really just cared about kindness and compassion, and she wanted to bring that to the South Elgin student community. So in addition to outreaching to local organizations like I think the Elgin Food Pantry in an effort called Change for Hunger, which was raising money for the homeless community in the surrounding area. We also did events within South Elgin High School that kind of just promoted kind of kindness and togetherness throughout the community. So for example, one of the things that she kind of inspired us to do is that I think it was every Monday morning, individuals from Hug Club would stand at all of the entrances in front of the schools and just hold a sign that said free hugs. And at that point, like, I didn't understand how important that was or how much of an impact that could have made on someone else's life. But like today, like everyone needs a hug, and that sprinkle of kindness just really truly makes a difference. And she really emphasized that in all of her teaching lessons and all of the communities that she was a part of throughout South Elgin High School.
if I teach you anything, I hope I teach you to be a little bit more kind, because obviously you're there to teach a subject, but I think more than anything, you're there to like help humans like go on their grand adventure.
Our next celebrated teacher is Tim Gaylord, who serves Los Gatos High School in Los Gatos, California. He was nominated by Briar Rose Rood, a student in the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences, who will graduate with a BA in criminology with a concentration in criminal justice administration and a minor in film production, which of course leads us to her being accepted this fall in our counseling program in the College of Education. And we are thrilled that she will be joining us as a clinical mental health in our clinical mental health program. Please join me in watching a video tribute to Tim Gaylord.
Hey, my name is Briar Rose Rood, and I will be graduating with a major in criminology. I am also going to be continuing my education at DePaul, getting my master's in counseling with a specialization in clinical mental health.
My name is Timothy Gaylord. I am a French teacher who also has a science credential, but I really prefer teaching the French classes. And I work right now at Los Gatos High School in California.
I decided to take French when I was in 8th grade, so I was still in middle school. The first day I walked in, because I didn't know the campus of high school, I was like terrified because they were all like taller and older and had like car keys and stuff. And basically we walked into Monsieur Gaylord's class. He immediately started speaking French, and I was terrified, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what he's saying.
And I had a fantastic mentor teacher, and we learned lots of different tricks and ways to teach language. And the things that resonated most with me is that we had a period, generally it was about 55 minutes or sometimes a block period, which was about, at that school it was 100 minutes, I believe, 104 minutes or something. So it was a long period. And if the kids are stuck in their seat for that much time, they tune out, just like most people would. And so I figured out that each period we would transition from anywhere 3 to 5 activities and spend kind of 20 minutes on one, or maybe even less for the first one to warm up, then transition to a new activity and get them out of their seats. Do an action activity like Mr. Gaylord says, or you're gonna go around the room and there's questions on the walls, or you're gonna have a question in your hand and you have to say it to 7 different people and figure out who has the answer that corresponds to your question, or things like that. So that way the kids are getting their blood flowing, their heart rates are up, they're interacting with each other, and they're speaking the target language.
He introduced us to like this whole new world that I had never seen before. Not just in like learning French, but just French culture, French films, French music. I just fell in love with it. In the middle of our semester, my grades started falling like dramatically, and I wasn't doing well on his tests, and this was like in the semester where, you know, the material started getting more difficult. So I thought that I was falling grade-wise because I wasn't understanding and I just didn't know it.
Generally speaking, when you have students who like to participate, who are, you know, getting the right answer in different ways, like whether it's writing it down. I like to do dry erase boards, little individualized dry erase boards, and you can tell right away if they know it or they don't. And if they're enthusiastic participants, and you know, like, but then when you get to a hard test stress situation and you see completely different results, that's a red flag.
He like took me to the side and had me stay after class so everyone left and he could just talk to me, and he basically quizzed me verbally on everything that we were doing in class, and I got them right. And he basically said, like, you know, it's obvious that you understand the material, and so I'm not worried about you not understanding the material. I think you have test anxiety.
And in her case, we figured out that the testing situation was causing her so much anxiety that she wasn't able to perform, which, you know, is understandable. It's like stage fright.
So he gave me some techniques where I focused one question at a time. The main thing that I got tripped up on was I would look at the first page as like a whole. I wouldn't look at it as just like several questions. I would look at it as one just huge question, and I would start like freaking out, and I would just start randomly filling things in, and I wouldn't really think about the questions. He helped me with that, and I started doing his techniques that he suggested, and I improved in his class. I started climbing back up grade wise, and I realized it wasn't just for French, it was for everything that I was doing. To this day, I have him like in the back of my mind, even though our class was 9 years ago. If I start tripping up on a question, I hear him just go one by one and we'll get through it. I felt like he cared about me, like not just as a student, but as a friend, as like a person. I'm just really thankful that he was placed in my life when he was.
We don't do this job for the recognition. And as a French teacher, it's rare that you really get picked out or called out for much. It's a fun class. A lot of the kids really enjoy it, but a few years down the road, the most remembered thing is usually the crepe parties or something along those lines. But yeah, I'm just absolutely floored, like so emotionally like happy and thankful and grateful that she remembers me and that I had a positive impact in her life.
Our last celebrated teacher is Keith Adams, who serves Kelvin Park High School here in Chicago. He was nominated by Guadalupe Mendoza, a student in the College of Education, who will graduate with a BA in secondary education. Please join me in watching a video tribute to Keith Adams.
My name is Guadalupe Mendoza. Everyone calls me Lupe. I'm a secondary education English major, graduate from DePaul.
Hi, my name is Keith Adams. I'm currently the principal at Kelvin Park.
When I was younger, I never envisioned myself being a teacher. I'll be real with you. I was never the best student, so I could never think I'd be a great teacher.
Although I had a lot of amazing, inspiring teachers, the reason why I nominated Dr. Adams because when I went into education, I said if there's one teacher I wanted to be, it would be Dr. Adams. And the reason why is because the way he taught was kind of the blueprint for me when I got into the whole teaching way. We did a cool activity our first day in physics, which was really fun, which kind of like intrigued us. We were like, oh, cool, we're doing this in this class. That was fun. And I was like, oh, wow, we're going to be doing this the entire time. I was so psyched. But then I realized, oh, wait, physics is like math, and I'm not good at math. I didn't like the class. I hated it. I did not like the class whatsoever. But he had a great sense of just trying to get you engaged in the beginning of the class. He would do these things called like fact of the day, facts that had nothing to do with class whatsoever, nothing about the subject. It was just random stuff that we would really have an interest in. We would have like a bell ringer sheet, you get as many bell ringer on your punch card. We got like a homework pass eventually, which was pretty cool. He always tried to connect the current to the younger crowd, maybe like some pop culture references into his work. The biggest thing I think I enjoyed about his classes, and I think he knew I liked it too, he would do this thing called Literacy Day.
It was never really about the content for me. It didn't have to be physics. It could be, but it didn't have to be. And it was more about current events that students really were passionate about. And I wanted them to be able, this is all before, the quote unquote fake news movement and all that stuff. Like, parse through sources of information and form your own opinion, because one resource is going to say one thing and it's either incomplete or inaccurate, and another thing is going to say another part of that may also be incomplete and therefore inaccurate. But the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, and we have to do our best to take a stance, right? Like, if you want to improve life for those and the people around you, you have to disrupt status quo. So you have to take a stance on certain things that, are controversial. to have any kind of impact on anybody.
I recall times where I would, when I got to, kind of like the education classes we had to do at DePaul, sometimes we had to present, sometimes we had to create lesson plans or find ways to just present, engage the classrooms. I would look back at what did these teachers do? And every time I kind of look back at Dr. Adams, his style of teaching, very calm, collected, try to have some humor in there. And I feel like that's a lot of things I really excelled at as well. I think every time I was in front of students, I just found passion that Dr. Adams would always embrace and during our classes. And I even robbed Fact of the Day from him when I was student teaching. I think he pushed me a lot. He was hard on me a lot. Junior, senior year, he always was hard on me. He never gave me a break. He was always like, bring your grade up. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. I was in my head, I'm like, why do you care, man? Why do you care?
Just young people have so many different things going on in their lives, in addition to, hormones and developmental things going on with their brains and their bodies, that you can't take anything personally. And I think what's amazing about young people is they bounce back so quickly and so easily that even at Lupe's lowest of lows, I never had a doubt that he wasn't going to bounce back. I mean, look at him now.
I'm very happy that he kept pushing me because, guess what? I'm a teacher now. So, he just set the standard for how I would want to be a teacher.
Lupe really needs to think about his definition of good student, because this isn't the first or the second or the third time I've heard him say, oh, I wasn't a good student. Yeah, you were. You just didn't know it.
You are such a great person and you deserve all the best things in the world.
I heard of your recent success and I just wanted to hop on here and say congratulations.
Wonderful. So many of us have had a special teacher or counselor or even educational leader from our past who helped shape us who we are today. I am grateful for the kindness, support, and positive influence that these folks had and imparted on the wonderful students that are in front of us. I know that many of the students we are honoring tonight will go on to be leaders in their own classrooms and communities, helping to change the lives of others, those that they teach and those that they counsel. Thank you very much. Jennifer?
We will now recognize students who have distinguished themselves through leadership, service, and academics. Our first presenter is Sister Mary Paul.
As instructional assistant faculty and coordinator of Catholic educational leadership, I am so pleased to announce the first award to Lucas Ossilier. The Nichols Family Scholarship is presented to graduate students enrolled in the College of Education's Educational Leadership Program. The reward serves to recognize a qualified student with good academic standing and who must teaches at a Catholic school. I was pleased to nominate Lucas. He is a teacher at St. John Birchman School on the near north side. He serves an ethnically and economically diverse population in a school very committed to making students with special needs welcome. Luke's enthusiasm for the Catholic faith and his insistence on providing the highest standard of academics for all students was truly put to a test this year. When his principal went on leave in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Luke was named acting principal. He was immediately immersed in the realities of having most students back in person on campus safely and in managing remote learners and all parents remotely. For 3 months, his time was not his own, yet he was unfailingly present to his responsibilities as a student at DePaul. His experience and study make him uniquely qualified to be a transformational Catholic school leader. The Nichols Family Scholarship serves as an affirmation and encouragement for Luke to continue to use his gifts in Catholic schools. Please join me in congratulating Luke Ossilier.
Hi, I'm Sandra Tanksley, the Academic Advising Assistant. The recipient of our Jerry and Catherine Christian Scholarship Award is Benjamin Lang. Jerry Christensen is a proud alumni of the College of Education, earning his BS in Physical Education in 1963. Mr. Christian's daughter, Catherine, is a 2007 law graduate. Together, Jerry and Catherine hope to honor and support students who show exemplary leadership skills and dedication to academics. I was thrilled to nominate Benjamin for this award. Benjamin is an attentive, focused student who has faced many challenges in pursuit of his education degree. Between meeting his class requirements and basketball schedules as required by DePaul's basketball team, Benjamin thrived despite the unique obstacles of the past year. Benjamin has been a consistent Dean's List recipient throughout his time as a COE student and has been able to remain focused and engaged. He is a true DePaul undergrad who embraces the Vincentian mission and will continue to be of service to all those he will meet in the future. And from Dibs, please join me in congratulating Benjamin. I also have the honor to present the Copen Senior Leadership Award. The winner of the Dr. Andrew T. Copen Senior Leadership Award, Ryan Nicole Johnson. Dr. Andrew T. Copen was known as an international scholar, particularly in the history of education. Upon his retirement after many decades of service to the university and educational community, the College of Education designated our Leadership Award as the Dr. Andrew T. Copen Senior Leadership Award. With his passing, the world lost a true educational leader. The award named in his honor recognizes a student who has distinguished themselves for leadership, academics, and service. It is with humble and great pleasure that I nominated Ryan. As a teacher in training, Ryan has remained focused on achieving her goal of graduating and becoming an outstanding elementary school teacher. In addition to the challenges of the global pandemic, Ryan has faced the reality of many unfortunate circumstances, especially through her senior year, leading to uncertainty of whether she would be able to complete her licensure program requirements. Ryan, you persevered and continue to contribute to many projects serving the betterment of services for African American students. Ryan has a true Vincentian story and will change the lives of so many children she has yet to meet. She is so deserving of being recognized for her individual achievement, and I am proud to have witnessed her success along her journey. Please join me in congratulating Ryan.
I am Kathy Iwashima, Senior Program Manager for the Education and Counseling Center and the Pinedo Program. I would like to present the Donald A. and Margaret Millett Scholarship Award to Addison Garza. Mr. Donald Millett established the Donald A. and Margaret Millett Scholarship Award in honor of his father, the late Donald A. Millett, and his mother, late Margaret. Mr. Donald Millett was an alumnus of DePaul University, earning his BA in philosophy in 1937 and his MED in education in 1942. The Millett family cherishes the College of Education and strives to support students who demonstrate excellence in mathematics education. Nominated by Dr. Mindy Couchman, Addison Garza is an extraordinary student and educator. When we were forced to learn remotely, Dr. Couchman was challenged by an entire course built around field work. Together, she and we collaborated to have the lab students work together as participants in the Pinedo program. These participants are historically underserved teen girls who receive regular tutoring support and training to ensure academic success throughout middle and high school, and the goal of attending college. The Pinedo girls were most in need of mathematics support, which Addison provided brilliantly. While Addison's chosen content area for certification is ELA and social studies, she rose to the challenge of supporting her partner students and in a content area she would not have chosen on her own. Dr. Couchman had the pleasure of attending these sessions, as did I, and watched her tutoring and witnessed her demeanor, teaching strategies, and disposition. She is a talented and deserving student who exemplifies the mission of the College of Education. Please join me in congratulating Addison. Next, I will present the winner of the Charles Doyle Service Award, Dan Burke. The Charles Doyle Service Award is presented to a DePaul education student who has shown exceptional service to the university and community. This recipient demonstrates extraordinary commitment to the good of the university and the larger community. It is my pleasure to have nominated Dan Burke for this award. As soon as we transitioned to remote learning in our time of greatest need as the Pinedo manager, Dan offered to help my students with tutoring, all of them. He almost single-handedly supported the entire cohort of middle school girls through the transition of online learning and helping them all pass their classes. Dan was patient, flexible, and always willing to accommodate the girls, sometimes, and actually often, unplanned requests to help. Then, he graciously agreed to develop and teach a math enrichment program twice a week for the entire summer, which by popular demand continued throughout the academic year. He didn't receive any sort of compensation or even credit towards student teaching for his exemplary work. Dan is truly phenomenal educator, an extraordinary person. Please join me in congratulating Dan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Jennifer Wahlberg, and I am an Associate Professor of Special Education and Chair of the Department of Counseling and Special Education. Tonight, I will be presenting the Dr. Sizemore Professional Educator Award to Charlie Moss. Charlie. Dr. Barbara Sizemore was the former Dean of the College of Education and a nationally recognized figure in urban education. Upon her retirement, the College of Education instituted the Barbara A. Sizemore Multicultural Urban Educator Award to recognize someone who, like Dr. Barbara Sizemore herself, overcame many obstacles to become a teacher, who shared her commitment to an urban education, and who exemplified the College of Education's mission. It was with great pleasure that I nominated Charlie for this award. Charlie Moss is an exceptional DePaul student. She works hard, she's an active participant in her classes, but even more than that, she is dedicated to multicultural education. Charlie spent her time student teaching, Charlie spent her time student teaching in a level 2 school in Englewood, where only 1% of the students in the entire school met or exceeded English, language arts, and math expectations. While teaching these children during a pandemic and under quite unusual circumstances, she worked hard to utilize the skills she learned at DePaul to help the children in her care make progress. She was thoughtful and intentional in her practice and was deeply moved by her experience. Charlie allowed this experience to really enhance her comprehension and perceptions about education, and also became more responsive and flexible about new ideas, situations, and behaviors. She is truly a model of how resilience and experience can combine to benefit students who identify as Black, Indigenous, and people of color, as well as those who are diagnosed and undiagnosed with disabilities. Please join me in congratulating Charlie Moss.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Marie Donovan, Associate Professor in the Department of Teacher Education and Program Director for Early Childhood Education. We begin by recognizing students who have completed all requirements for the doctorate in education. Anne Marie Adams, Ashley Canty, Michelle Colbert, Hermogenes Del Toro, Camille Franklin, Algiana, we'll get the timing right, Algiana Griffin, Nancy Harmony, Vanessa Hine, Kendrick Johnson, Michelle Johnson, Timothy Larman, Jessica Null, Linnell Porch, Esther Quintero Guzman, Rachel Rosen, Roberto Torres, Daniel Villa, Landon Wade, Gwenda Walters, and Markenia Williams. Congratulations. Now at this time, we recognize master's degree candidates who have distinguished themselves through their academic achievements. Honors designation criteria for this event varies by academic program. Official honors designation will be finalized after all grades have been submitted and will appear on transcripts. Julian Bloom, Andrew Boyd, Randall Carpenter, Tomas Castrejon, Amy Christensen, Alejandra Coelho, Joanna Cohen, Social Cruz, Yana Cruz, Kathleen Curran, Michael Dixon, Maeve Donahue, Jacob Doyle, Ali Abadi, Radia Ellis, Isabella Fioretto, Margaret Flanagan, Leah Fuller, Madison Gill, Cindy Gudino, Annette Guzik, Mecca Hamilton, Sarah Hasselhorst, Anne Hulley, Kathleen Hurley, Emily Illig, Giovanna Jacques, Julie Johnson, Calandra Jones, Meredith Cachel, Catherine Kaiser, Felicia King, Gina Kerberg, Cassandra Kirkland, Jane Kanucky, Morgan Lemko, Haley Levin, Madeline Lewis, Nina Marshall, Paulette Matuk, Daniel McFerrin, Elizabeth Mejia, Charlie Moss, Noemi Muniz, Allison Muscat, Phiong Nguyen, Brianna Olson, Hannah Patarakis, Andrew Ramirez, Sherry Ramsey, Emily Reed, Kyle Riddle, Casildo Rodriguez, Magali Roman, Eliza Rosenfeld, Erin Rao, Angela Scalzitti, Kelsey Schurler, Desiree Shireholtz, Kira Shore, Madeline Schultz, Hitomi Shiga, Gabrielle Simmons, Jason Smith, Rebecca Sparks, Megan Spletzer, Heather Stika, Jessica Taylor, Danish Trivedi, Shelby Turner, Kathleen Wilson, Taylor Visavati, Jan Zhang, and Anna Zimanyak. We now recognize undergraduates who are graduating summa, magna, and cum laude. Current designation reflects grades as of winter quarter. As with the graduate students, official designation will be calculated after all grades have been submitted and will be reflected on final transcripts. We will begin with the students who have achieved highest honors, summa cum laude. Sasha Appel, Olivia Averitt, Erica Barish, Elena Benavides, Melissa Bernal Pulida, Davis Karen Vera, Benjamin Courtney, Elisa Diaz, Elise Flannery, Erin Fleener, Daniel Fleming, Tyler Gatz, Rebecca John, Mia Kaplan, Haley Malovin, Nhan Nguyen, Erin O'Connor, Dania O'Day, Juan Sandoval, Kyle Smith, Emma Sudi, Eliana Torres, Montserrat Velasco Ortega, Natalie Walsher, Ivy Vichjak. And now, students who are graduating magna cum laude. Emily Baltiera, Caitlin Bartlett, Tamara Burkhart, Bea Lauren Carino, Dominic Downs, Cynthia Flores, Benjamin Formica, Tyler Frazier, Addison Garza, Lucia Heron, Sandra Latzik, Natalie Newmark, Catherine Ryan, Taylor Sturtevant, Lauren Tyra, and Ariana Trujillo. We now recognize students graduating cum laude. Judith Aldape, Mercedes Alvarez, Melissa Calvo, Isabel De La Rosa, Monica Diaz, Ashley Edwards, Jacqueline Garcia, Megan Higgs, Abigail Jaimes, Ryan Johnson, Alexandra Cantogianis, Daisy Lamas Guzman, Carla Lambros, Benjamin Lang, Grace Lichter, Hannah Padovic, Joshua Pfaff, Camila Pisca, Danielle Roche, Azamina Sabanovic, Kali Slahavi, Ann Toner, Harry Vartarella, and Daniel Vaz da Costa. Please join me in congratulating everyone for well-deserved honors designations.
Thank you, Dr. Donovan. And before we move on, I may have inadvertently left off one of our honorees. Please join me in congratulating one of our graduate students, Nicole Christoffel. I just want to make sure Nicole doesn't get left out.
Was there anyone else that was left out? Sometimes that occurs. Did we miss anybody else? Okay, thank you. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
Yes, let me join in. Congratulations to all of our College of Education honors students. Dean Zients will now close our ceremony with well wishes. We raise a toast to each and every one of you and to the families and friends and community that brought you to this accomplishment today. Our award-winning students, our celebrated teachers, the staff, faculty, family, and friends, all whose guidance and support helped make this day possible. Dean Zients.
We in the college are so proud to have been part of your journey and look forward to learning of your many successes to come. Remember, no matter where your education and counseling work takes you, or your educational leadership takes you, you will always have a home in the College of Education. These past 15 months, you have triumphed over unthinkable circumstances, and I know that no obstacle will stop you from living out the spirit of the Vincentian mission. Congratulations to the class of 2021.